I'm extra sleepy today. I have no reason why, but that's okay. It's gonna be good. We're gonna crush this thing. Day 21. All right. So this problem is called the leftmost column with at least a 1. And this is an interactive problem, which I've never done or seen before. And in the problem, we have a binary matrix, meaning all elements are either 0 or 1, for each individual row of the matrix. This row is sorted in non-decreasing order. Ascending order? What up? What's going on, Vic? Given a row sorted binary matrix called binary matrix, return the leftmost column with at least a single 1 in it. If such index doesn't exist, -1. What does notification mean? Is that like, did you get a bell ring? If it doesn't exist, return -1. You can't access the binary matrix directly. You may only access the matrix using a binary matrix interface. Okay, I guess this is the interactive part. We have a method on there called get that takes an x and a y and returns the element of the matrix at index x and y. And we have a dimensions call which returns a list of 2 elements and an m, which means that the matrix is n times n. Okay. Submissions making more than 1,000 calls. Yeah, what language would you want to see? To binary matrix.get will be judged wrong answer. Also, any solutions that attempt to circumvent the judge will result in disqualification. Okay. For custom testing purposes, you're given the binary matrix mat as input in the following 4 examples. You will not have access the binary matrix directly. You will not have access to the binary matrix directly. Okay, this is a mouthful. Let's look at the examples. So we've got a 0, 0, and 1, 1, and the problem says, given a row sorted binary matrix, return the leftmost column with at least a 1 in it. So if we look at the column, we can see that it has a 1 in it. Python, C++, or Java, okay. That's fine. I don't know if I want to do this problem in this language because it's going to be already kind of weird. But I am interested in 2 of those languages, somewhat. I like Python. Python's great. It's probably the best language to do stuff like this in. But I just don't know it very well. And Java is okay. It's just very verbose. And C++ is, I'm just not up on C++. That would just be brutal to watch probably. If you like, how do I declare a function? It's also lower level, so it's going to be longer than Python for sure. I could do Java though. I could do it all. So maybe if this one goes fast, maybe I'll try to do one of those languages. Because I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, it seems like it'd be ridiculously easy. I feel like I'm missing something here. Binary matrix means that all elements are 0 or 1. I got that. For each individual row of the matrix, this row is sorted. The row is sorted in non-decreasing order. What? The row, so left to right, is sorted. Okay. Left to right is sorted, but up and down is not sorted. So given a row sorted binary matrix, return the leftmost column with at least a 1 in it. If no such index exists, return -1. Okay. And then this is how we deal with it. Heck yeah. We have merch actually. It's on Zazzle. Codingblocks.net/merch. /swag. But if you send me an email, or I can send you an email, I will send you stickers for free. But yeah, we have like shirts and stuff. We have hats too. I'm not wearing one right now though. I'm wearing a MS Dev Show hat. But yeah, we got some stuff. Word up. What else we got? Okay, so I mean, I'm still kind of thinking through what it means that it's sorted. So like if you look at the top row, like okay, the row is sorted 0, 0, and the bottom one is sorted 1, 1. So how do I find the leftmost index? Well, the brute force way would be to just, I don't know, check like all the column 1, the column 0 down, and then see if there's a 1 in it, then go to the next, and go to the next, go to the next. But that, they mentioned that we have to be called less than 1,000 times, but they don't tell us how big the matrix is, so that's a little weird. This is just a weird problem in general. We can't make more than 1,000 calls, but they're going to tell us how big it is, so I'm guessing they're going to give us ones that are much bigger than 1,000. Heck yeah, which bug do you like? They all have different sayings on it. I forget. We couldn't decide on which one, so we just made a couple. So in this one here, 0, 0, okay. And here is 0, 1. Here there's none. So here's like the worst case, is if I get one that's more than 100 by 100, I'm going to check every one of these things in my approach before we get to the answer. So that is kind of our clue here. So we can't check every item in the list, but we know that it's sorted. So I'm thinking what we could do is basically do a binary search. So like for every row, we'll start in the middle and say, hey, are you a 0? Then go to the right, otherwise go to the left. And what we're trying to do is basically find the leftmost index in every row. And that all sounds good. So I'm going to reread the problem to make sure I understand it, and then this should be really easy. Given a row sorted binary matrix, return the leftmost column with at least a single 1 in it. If it doesn't exist, return -1. Okay. Matt as the input. You will not have access to the binary. Okay. Hey, what's up, Abdul Rahman? You done this one yet? Yeah, I've tried a couple things that fix the latency, but I have not had any luck. I'm a slacker. I changed a couple things. I don't think we need the hints. I think this looks okay. Matt at I and J is here. Okay, I mean, this just seems, yeah. That's pretty, the latency is pretty bad. Sometimes I don't see it though, because I have to kind of like look back and forth in order to see it. I need to get a second monitor. Whoa! Hey man, did you Twitch or YouTube? I want to see. Alright, so we're going to get a binary matrix. We're going to be able to say get by X and Y, and we'll be able to get the dimensions. So what I'm thinking about doing is basically doing a binary search on each row. It says right here that we won't get more than 100 in any direction, so the only way we would end up running more than 1,000 times would be if we're checking things more than once, but I just don't know why I would do this. That's cool, I'd still watch it. I feel like I'm missing something. Like, it just seems like this is a pretty cool way to go. If it's sorted, could we do better? Like, if I started here and basically said, if you're a 0 here, then go down until you see a 1. And then if you see a 1, go as far left as you can until you get to 0, and then go down. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that would be a better solution. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so here's my input. And what we'll do is, say this again, start at top right corner. If 0, go down. If 1, go left. Even if the item had all 1s, I would just go all the way left. So my worst case scenario, I would end up doing either the width or the height of my matrix, which is only going to be a fraction of the input. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good solution. I think that's better than binary search which would be the height times variable number. So for sure, yeah. So for sure, this is a better algorithm. I can't imagine a better one. So yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. And if we could do this iteratively, I think we have a shot today at having the best solution. However, every time I think that I've got a shot at the best solution, I almost always end up finding some sort of huge logical hole with the way I'm solving the problem. So who knows? We may be headed down a rabbit hole here. Yeah, I agree. And this one even had a typo in it. I wish I could edit them or suggest an edit. So we're going to start at the top right. So we'll get the width and height. Width and height equals. And here it is. So we got our matrix. Dot, is it dimensions? Okay. And let me make sure I understand what they're saying. It's supposed to return, yep, a list of 2 elements, which returns n and m. I assume that's width and height. Yeah, binary search is the one I was starting with, but then because it says it's sorted, it seems like we could. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is optimal, but I probably missed something. It says n times n. So I guess n is width. I don't see that anywhere else. Okay, yeah. I don't know which one is n and which one is m, so whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, there we go with height. So we'll set I equals, or they're using x and y for it. So we'll say x equals width minus 1, x minus minus. X is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Do I want to do it that way? I don't think I want to do it that way, actually. Let's just say let x equals width minus 1 and let y equals 0. And we'll just loop for a while. I'm not sure when to end looping, but we'll figure that out. And basically what we'll do is say just right here. So we got the top right. If binary matrix dot get xy, if it equals 0, then y plus plus, otherwise it equals 1, so x minus minus. Also, if x equals 1, we can store our best value, and best value will start at -1, and whenever we move left, we'll basically say best equals x. Yeah, and I couldn't figure out if which one was n and which one was m, you know? So they said dimensions returns 2 elements n and m. I'm assuming because this is x and y that this is also width and height. But I couldn't see from the description which one it was. So, yeah, just kind of weird. It's probably fine. So our best answer, anytime we move left, then we can set our best answer. Actually, we need to do it before that. And best will never go up. It can only go down. If it's not found, it'll still be -1. So is that it? We'll try it. N being rows, okay. So if n is rows, then that means I have to swap these two. No. Yeah. And I think the rest is the same. I'm still having a problem though. I'm not, okay. I'm not doing any sort of boundary checking. So while x is greater than or equal to 0, and y is less than or equal to height -1. Okay. So I said -1. They said 0. Just gonna see what answer I get here. Either way, this is a square, so it shouldn't have. Yeah, so let me undo that. No programming by coincidence today. So this is small enough one that we could have said it should have started at x equals width, which I assume to be 2. So I'm just gonna write some stuff. X and Y. Yep, we're thinking the same thing. I think latency, a good call. Yep, I think best set to -1 to start. So they said to set best equal to, to return -1 in the case that you never find a 1. Let's see, where was that? If such index doesn't exist, return -1. If I return 0, that would mean that there was an answer in the very left. So 0 is actually a good answer in this case. So I'm going to say x by y equals this. And just make sure that I'm thinking about this grid correctly. Okay, so that's funny. So it didn't even run in my loop. It never ran this, it just returned. So what happened there? I said while x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and x should have been 1. And y is less than height, which should have been 2 minus 1. So y was equal to 0. So let's see what width and height were. So height is height. Width is width. Look at that. Oh my gosh, and you know why? It's because this wasn't an object. This is an array. Now it's going to work. Okay, so what happened here? I checked x of 1, which is good. And I got a 0. So I said in this case, x equals 1, y equals 0, but somehow, I think maybe I need to put this back. Or maybe I just have the whole thing skewed. No, what the heck? I'm getting something wrong here. I got something twisted. So if I'm checking 1 by 0, I'm trying to check this one, and I keep getting that one. Also, I should be checking 4 squares here. No, that's not true. That's okay. That part is okay. So put this back. Are they 1 based or something? Turns the element of the matrix at. Is it 0 indexed? Okay. Let me clear all this jazz. X equals width at 1. So I'm saying, like, this is the number I want. But it's almost like I'm getting the result from that, which I can't explain. So if I look at this input again, I expect to get a 0 right here, but I'm not. By x. Let's swap this and see what if I get the answer I expect. So this is what I expected. I checked 0 sorry, x1 at 0, and I got this. That was 0, so I should have gone down to 1, 1, check. That worked, so I moved left, and I got a 1. Y should be height minus 1. Yeah, I mean, I guess I must just have my x and y just totally backwards. That's just weird. Okay. So, what I'll do is get height and width, just like that. And then, yeah, just like you said, I'm just thinking about it backwards. It should be height minus 1, and this should be x. And then we're basically rotating here. That's still good. In this case, now y needs to be greater than or equal to 0. And x needs to be less than the width minus 1. Wait. Man, I'm getting all twisted. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. See if we get the right answer. Like, the variable names are bad for sure. Alright, let's see how this goes. So I've got my y and x mixed up. Oops, I did something. This is why undo is not great. Alright, so I want x equals width minus 1. There we go. I think that is what I'm looking for. Alright, so that's the answer I expect. So now I'm going to try changing my input here. And it's going to give me the wrong answer, but it's just going to help me understand that I'm doing the right thing. So here's the order that I want it to check. I never wanted to check this one. I wanted to check this one first, this one second, and this one third. So my output, I want to just see 1, 2, 3. Oh God. Okay, well, they don't want me to test it with other numbers. So let's just remove those console logs and try submitting. All right, hey, that solved it. And before I fix those variable names, I'm just going to look and see how the runtime was. No, not enough. Man, I want to see the distribution. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, really? That sucks. Alright, well, that's a bummer. Alright, so let's clean this up a little bit. It was a record for me for sure. So 28 minutes. And I think this one was a medium. Oh, we didn't look at the input, the hints. Binary search for each row. Do a binary search to find the leftmost one in the row and update. Yeah. And then we got the optimal approach, which is imagine that there is a pointer at the top right, and it can either move left or down. Okay, awesome. If the value is 0, move down. That's okay, cool. Try to figure out the correctness and the time complexity. So that sounds like fun. So the correctness, that's a weird way of putting it. I mean, seems correct to me, but I'm not going to prove it by induction. It's been too long since I've done that. Time complexity, though, it'll only ever be either M or N. So if our input consists of M or N, then we're only going to be a fraction of the input size. So trying to think if there's a a worst case, but even going diagonal, it's only ever going to be m or n. So for that input size, that I want to say it's log n, but I don't know if that's truly the logarithm. It's definitely sublinear. It's less than n. Where, yeah, I think that's the answer, but I'm not sure. And that's the worst case. So what did I do here? I mean, I've got my x and y mixed up. So basically, I need to kind of transpose this. Oh, you know what? I just had a better idea. What if we just name this I and J? And we can hide the shame. I don't like that. I really want x to be the width. And we said starting at the top right. In this case it's a 1, so we go down. Or sorry, we go left. It's a 0. But that's okay. We go down again. It's a 1. That's good. So we go left. It's a 0, so we go down. It's a 1, so we go left. So in this case it's 4 because that's the longer side. So the runtime will be O of whatever the longest side is. So I guess in that case I could say it's big O of the minimum, or sorry, the max of n or m. It's a weird one. Alright, well, it bothers me that the x and y are mixed up. I feel like I've misread something, but ultimately I don't really care too much. It's fine, I think. I'm okay with that. And I think we got the best answer, so yay. Now, just for fun, just because you asked, Vic, I think I might convert this to Java. I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. I already got the solution down here in case we need to reference it. Comment that out. Alright, so the main difference here is that we're taking a different kind of object in JavaScript. You see it doesn't even look really that different. We do have a class. Doesn't really affect us. We've got a... what I like about languages like Java is that they're more formal, so you have to say like what the output is. Like you see this function, we know that it returns a number because we wrote it, but there's nothing that tells, you know, the computer or whatever. So you could return a number, or you could return a string, or you could do both in the same function. So it's just kind of loosey-goosey. And if you make a typo, like you accidentally did, you know, something like this is not going to work, but JavaScript will try to run it. If you do that in Java, it's not even going to try to run, so you're less likely to get incorrect results because of a typo, which I like. So it's going to return an integer, and it's going to take in this interface, and so we can see that it's pretty much the same. Okay, and it's using a list of integers. So that'll change a little bit how we have to get this. There you go. Well, the funny thing is, so it's not that the comments are slow, it's that the video I'm putting out is delayed. If that makes sense. So it like buffers it up for 15 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever, and then pushes it. So we need to rewrite the video software, or find the appropriate setting, which is going to be much easier. Or you could just use OBS, which most people use anyway. Stop using what I'm using. So in this case, not sure what version of Java we're on. Maybe we could find out. Okay, we're on Java 13. That's good. I'm not too clear exactly on like the different versions of Java and what they have and what they don't. but I'm pretty sure that Java 13 supports var. I think they added that in 8. So we could do something like this. Dimensions equals binary matrix dot, and it's going to be this function right here. Oh no, sorry, dimensions. And that is going to be a list of integer, but I think that I can just do var because I'm lazy, and the compiler will be responsible for figuring out that it's a list of integers. My Java is rusty, so I don't remember exactly what you need to do to get an item. So like in JavaScript, I would do this, or I used like the whatever this is called, just a little trick. But in Java, I think I have to actually call .get for this object. So it'd say var height equals this, var width equals dimensions.get at 1. Say var best equals -1. We could also do ints for this too. Is auto the same kind of thing, like type inference? Alright, var best. Java still has while loops. X is greater than or equal to 0. And y is less than or equal to height minus 1. Actually, the rest is the same. Except for where I messed it up. But the rest of the syntax is we're going to need semicolons too. But all this should be exactly the same with semicolons. I actually prefer using semicolons in JavaScript, but I'm trying not to. I think that's it. Let's give it a go. Compile error. Oh, triple equals. So Java, that's going to be double equals. And it's this is a value type in Java, not a reference type. So we're okay with doing double equals there. We don't have to call like dot equals or check the value somehow. Like this is a value comparison. So 0 equals 0 in Java. While x is greater than 0. Oh, I didn't set my x and y. Var x equals width minus 1. Var y equals 0. Oh my gosh, and I forgot the semicolons. It's not like in most languages that are kind of C based. They're so similar a lot of times that like if you know like one language well, you can read just about any other language that are kind of like the C like syntax. But it's the little things that trip you up when you go back and forth. Let's see. All right, got the right answer. Let's submit it. Yay. So all right, so we just did some Java there. Very exciting. Maybe we can see the runtime there. Okay, so it looks like, oh wow, dim.get, yeah, this is pretty much exactly the same. So, we're all just over here. I don't see any other solutions, so whatever. Let's see here. Do I still have my JavaScript function? I was gonna say like the Java was 20 lines. JavaScript was 15. So that's pretty cool. What if we did Kotlin? Kotlin's my favorite of the JVM languages. And it's going to be very similar. Let's see. Just going to make sure this isn't any different. Yep. They're probably calling it with the same function. So we just drag the stuff in there, and we'll do this in Kotlin too. So in Kotlin, they have val and var. Val is for constants, so that means if I set this once, I can't set it equal to anything else, so it kind of protects it. So I'm going to set that. I think that Kotlin does have something like the JavaScript where I can set something to the values of this. I'm just not sure about that. Something we could look up. Semicolons are optional, and they're discouraged. You can see how this changed too. So fun, it's a little bit smaller word. It's public by default. The types are to the right. And there we go. And you can see int is capitalized here. Int is an object, unlike Java, but it is a val type too. So that means we can just do equal equals. So we don't have to worry about any weird stuff. This will be the same. We could probably use an indexer. We'll try it. And anything else? Alright, yeah, I don't see any really Kotlin-y tricks. I bet we could condense this, but other than that, like, I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, duh. So I set val for x and y. That's what I was just talking about. We've got to set them to var for the items that can change. So it's just a little bit of protection, which I like. So the thing I like about Kotlin is that it's less verbose. You know, it's like just a little bit cleaner than Java. We can't really see it here because this is just kind of mundane code. But it's generally more terse than Java, but it actually gives you more protection with features like that. Yay. So we try that. Alright, cool. That was it. Might try Python. Or let me see, like Kotlin. I forget what it's called when you do that with the array. Is equal to array. Is it dereference? Destructuring, there it is. That's what it's called. Let's see here. Parentheses. I'm not totally sure I read that right, but let's try it. Let's see. It would be height and width equals that. So this puts us closer to the amount of lines in JavaScript. The only difference here really is just we've got a class, and we might even be able to get rid of that. Kotlin doesn't require functions to be in a class. It'll give you an implicit class. All right, so got the answer. Cool. So that worked. And let's see if this works. Oh, okay, it doesn't because of how they call it. Yeah, I could try it and see. You got to help me though. So because of how they called the function, it had to have the class. That's whatever, that's fine. All right. So it's been a long, they don't have a C. Oh yeah, they do. Duh. All right, so this will be interesting. It's been so long since I've done this. All right, so in this case, we're taking a pointer to a matrix. Matrix is defined here. You can get, it's got a function named get. Oh my God, how do I even read this? I don't even know how to read this. I mean, so this is a struct. It has an integer type. Get, that's a pointer. So yeah, I don't know how to read this. It looks like I call get and I have to pass the matrix to it. And then here we get an int pointer. Oh, screw this, man. I was like, I remember pointers, I can do this, but I just can't even read this. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what this means. I mean, I know what a struct is. Inject the implementation of the function. Ugh. Oh, I can't do COBOL. Have you seen, there's a streamer doing COBOL. It's Zorch. COBOL. He's making a game in COBOL. Let's see, what's his name? I highly recommend watching his channel. He's one of my favorite streamers. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that and see. Zorchenheimer. Yeah, so he's literally making a game in COBOL called COBOL Arena. It's awesome. And he's out of work right now, actually. He's just streaming like 4 hours. So you could probably catch him if you do any twitching. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm not logged in on this browser, but he's awesome. After the advertisement, I'll show you what the code looks like. Oh my gosh. He also uses a Dvorak keyboard, so like the keyboard letters are in different orders. And so he has a camera set on his hand, so you can see what that looks like. It's pretty cool. If I do full screen, it's too big. Oh well, anyway, if you Google for it, you can find you can find him working in COBOL. It's really cool. Tell him Joe Zach sent you. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. Cool. Hope you guys